Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 50 in the book of Revelation. Today's title is Babylon is No Laughing Matter. This is from Revelation chapter 14. There's going to be three angels that come and give a message, and I'm going to talk about the first two today. The first one is kind of instructive about judgment, and then the other one is instructive about Babylon. Verse 6 of chapter 14, Then I saw another angel flying directly overhead with an eternal gospel, to proclaim to those who dwell on earth, to every nation and tribe and language and people. And he said with a loud voice, Fear God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea and the springs of water. So let me pause there. This is the hour of judgment, he says. The hour of judgment has come. Now, we're in chapter 11, and for those of you who read Revelation, you know it gets pretty good at the end, chapters 20, 21, and 22, where he basically wins. But we're not there yet. In chapter 14, we're surrounded, chapters before this and the chapter after this, with all kinds of destruction and all this crazy wrath stuff. But chapter 14 is called proleptic. That is, it looks ahead to the future moments in chapters 20, 21, and 22. It's like a quick fast forward of time. And here's the summary. Jesus wins, period. Not only will he win, but not only will he reign, but at the time that this is pictured as, he actually is reigning. So it emphasizes that this prophecy, it's real. The predictions are real. And the wrath that the Lord has is here. And we should be worshiping. So the wrath of God of interest does not exclude worship. It includes worship. And it's a holy thing to say, write this down, I love the wrath of God. So let's move our hearts toward that end, that we would love your wrath like these people do in the story today. So the other thing that charmed me was the gospel goes on. So the good news of Jesus, that he did it and wins and everything, it's still relevant in heaven. So let's think about these time frames. One is like a not yet believer. He considers the gospel for the first time and believes for the first time. And the gospel is relevant at that moment. And then on earth, even believers, let's say me, who I meditate on God's wonders and I place myself under that truth, under admiration and worship at this moment in time. Well, the gospel is relevant then. And then look ahead here now with these guys. Already in heaven, an end-time angel continues to proclaim to every nation, tribe, language, and people that God wins, and it's still relevant. So I don't see an end to the good news of Jesus, no matter when you peer into time. So let's worship the Creator, not the created, and fear God. So have reverence and respect for him. Be a little afraid, a little terrified. And certainly if you need help with that, read Revelation, because Revelation is certainly terrifying. And rather than run away from it in terror, recognize his power and worship him. So give him glory. Now remember, he already has glory. He's had it from the beginning. He will have it. But you need to give God glory. You need it for yourself, to recognize him and acknowledge him. You're the beneficiary of it in a way. All right, so I want to talk about the second angel, because that's Babylon, and that is where we get to no laughing matter. So verse 8, another angel, a second, followed, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all nations drink the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality. So another angel here announces that Babylon is fallen. Now here's the hilarious part. I laughed out loud when I found this out. Babylon has been nowhere in the book of Revelation yet. So before Babylon even appears in the text, the first thing we find out about is Babylon's destroyed. So Babylon has fallen, but she hasn't been even introduced yet. And John sees the end of Babylon before he sees the beginning of Babylon. And so I laughed out loud at this. Scripture does this to me. And then I thought to myself, as podcast guy, I should probably learn a little bit about Babylon before I say anything. So Revelation 17, so we're in Revelation 14, 3 chapters down the road, it says, he carried me away in his spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on the scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, and holding her golden cup full of abominations and impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written the name of a mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes, and the earth abominations. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. So the point here is Babylon is really serious business. She's a really, really, really bad entity, and nothing to fool around with, and certainly nothing to laugh at least until the Lamb opens up his can of wrath on her. So she's a great city. She influences all nations. She makes them do bad things with sexual immorality. She drinks the wine of the passion of this. And here's the point. Jesus wins at great cost, and Jesus wins over great enemies that have trampled on his saints, trampled on his church, trampled on his world and his ways. And this Babylon is very serious business and is very powerful, and therefore will need a certain strength to overcome it. So she has power, influence, riches. She is blasphemous, full of abominations, full of impurity, full of immorality, associated with people's zippers. She's the mother of prostitutes and OnlyFans accounts. She has so many humans are against God and their souls, and then frequently, most easily, and certainly it's often betrayed in their zipper. Here's a teaching point. Write this down. Babylon wants your zipper. She revels in the death of saints and martyrs for Jesus. She's made havoc in the people of God. And this Babylon-sized enemy is going to need a God-sized conqueror to whoop her. And with Jesus-sized, lamb-empowered, blood and sacrifice, Jesus is going to stand up to sit her down. Jesus will sit down after she is thrown down. So here's the conclusion. God wins, and God cared enough to tell us that Babylon is fallen before she's introduced. And before we laugh with joy, let's be sobered with seriousness, for she has wreaked havoc on the earth and in God's people, and is seeking people's zipper and their allegiance and a whole bunch of other stuff. And she's going to get her just due, which is a can of wrath opened up upon her. But in the meantime, Babylon is no laughing matter, at least not for now, because Jesus has to stand up to sit her down, and Jesus will sit down after she is thrown down. Thanks for listening.